As a winning player, man, everyone says they want to win, and for the most part, guys, you know, they don't want to win, but Yaz, like, he really wants to win. Like, that's the ultimate prize for him.
It was one of those moments where walking back to the plate after fouling off the second one, it's like, hey, like, it's time to buckle up, and you gotta do something now. So it was more of a competitive nature, I think, than anything.
Yastrzemski out to left center. It drops down. It gets by Rafaela. It's a walk-off Friday night winner in Atlanta.
Whether we have a lead and lose it, whether we go down big early, whatever it may be, I think that this group of guys doesn't get faced by that. We're going to go in and approach every at bat in every situation, you know, the best that we can, and, you know, live with whatever comes with it.
Last night's hero, Mike Yastrzemski. And more Braves baseball tonight is always brought to you by Truist. What an exciting night it was. We are doing our best Mike Yastrzemski up here in the booth. Brandon Gunn, CJ Nitkowski. You saw Yaz wearing the shirt, Mustache May. It's for mental health awareness. It's a great thing that Yaz has done for the last 5 years. And since he has been on a roll lately, and especially last night, CJ, we felt it fitting to look like this.
Yeah, perfect time for it. I kind of feel like this Swedish Chef a little bit from the Muppets, but either way, a really important cause, like you mentioned, and we are more than happy to participate.
All right, well, let's talk about what has happened here from the 7th inning on. Things going really well late in games for the Atlanta Braves.
They've been exciting all year long because of this. You never feel like you're out of a game when you're watching the Atlanta Braves, and why not? Look what they've done here from the 7th inning on. That run differential at plus 29. The OPS is up there, and they're also pitching, right? We know this bullpen has been great. They have been getting it done late in a really big way. It's been fun, right? Again, you never feel like you're out of the game. You know you got a chance. These guys have provided some really great heroics late in the game. Now, as far as what they've done against lefties, so they got themselves a lefty tonight. It's a pretty good news. You see the best slugging percentage in the National League. And how about Drake Baldwin, Matt Olson, what they have done left on left. Michael Harris with a couple of homers against lefties. 19 overall for this group. And they do have the most plate appearances against left-handed pitching this season, far and away the most in baseball. So it's been a challenge for some of these lefties that they have met in a really big way. Now, we talk about the starting pitching matchup tonight. Pretty excited, as we always get here, because Bryce Elder's going to be on the mound here for the Atlanta Braves. He is having an excellent season. You can see what he has done in his home start so far this year. And on the other side, the big man, Peyton Tolley, going for the Boston Red Sox. Big-time fastball from Peyton Tolley that the Braves are going to have to deal with here this evening.
But Yaz has the better mustache. It's also Armed Forces Day across Major League Baseball. When we get back, we'll carry some of the festivities live here from Truist Park.
At Ace, we know whether you grill with charcoal.
By Delta Airlines, keep climbing. By Georgia Natural Gas, it's that simple. And by Xfinity, reliable Wi-Fi at one price. Xfinity, imagine that. Armed Forces Day all across Major League Baseball, and it was a really special ceremony here at Truist Park before the game. Had parachuters come in, all military personnel out there on the field. A really emotional national anthem, just extremely well done here by the folks that put all this on here for the Atlanta Braves. Let's go down to the field now and welcome in Wiley Ballard.
Thanks, Brandon. Well, the Braves have the best record in baseball. That's nothing nobody already knew. But for Atlanta, they're doing it not just with the core pieces that they've had here for years, but with some other pieces, the glue guys, if you will. They've told the show recently, Mike Yastrzemski, with that walk-off last night. So I want to ask a couple of the longtime Braves what the new additions in 2026 have meant to the club and how challenging their role can be.
It's not easy for guys, you know, just thinking about Dom basically being in the lineup against righties, you know, a little bit of Yaz too. It's like it's not an easy role to be in, not getting at bats every day, to be, you know, physically and more importantly mentally prepared to know what you need to get ready for an at-bat coming off the bench in a big spot or whatever it is.
A lot of, you know, positive energy, man. Dom, he's a character, man. He brings it all. yeah, it's the same way. And Doobie, Doobie is all, whatever you put him, he's gonna just go do what he does best, and he's a gamer. He goes play baseball for you. So these guys are really, a big piece of the team that help us win games. So definitely great that we have them here.
They say winning cures all. The Braves, they haven't just been winning, it's been all 26 guys contributing. You heard Matt Olson talk about how it's not easy to be on the bench one day and then pressed into the limelight the next, but these guys have been coming through time and time again, and that's why the Braves have the best record in baseball. They have been clutch off the bench. Take a look at who's got the sauce. You see Dom Smith, he has been phenomenal in his role. You've got Mauricio Dubon, who continues to deliver in those key spots. Mike Yastrzemski last couple weeks heating up. How about Jorge Mateo? Late in games, he's been coming through as well for Atlanta. So again, guys, if you're going to have the best record in baseball, you need the superstars, guys like Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, so on and so forth. But the glue guys, that's what separates you from being a good team to a great team. And the Braves have been exactly that for the first month and a half of the season. Now, you know who else has been really good the first 6 weeks? How about Bryce Elder? The double nickel has been lights out. ERA below 2. He's got an expanded repertoire, and he gets to start tonight with an extra day of rest for the first time in quite some time. He'll have first pitch when we come back.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Comcast Business. All in connection and protection your small business can rely on. No one does business like Comcast Business. By your local Ford dealers. And by the Georgia Lottery. Get a nice hit of cash with a new hit family of scratchers from the Georgia Lottery. Saturday, May 16th at Truist Park. We walk you up to first pitch, and Bryce Elder will throw the first pitch tonight as the starter. Let's go back to his last outing, Sunday at Dodger Stadium. Outs by pitch type. It was another great outing for Bryce Elder.
It certainly was. 5 2/3 for him. No runs allowed. You can see it there. Only the one hit, and he did it a lot of different ways. Both types of fastballs with the sinker and the four-seamer. We've talked a lot about how great his slider has been, and also the movement on the changeup. Take note of the location on that changeup, using it as a chase pitch with the really good movement. Elevate the four-seamer, sink the sinker. The slider has been fantastic. More vertical movement on it. We'll talk about that certainly during the game as well. But that was a great outing against a pretty tough lineup.
It is Saturday night. It is 80 degrees, low humidity. Braves and Red Sox. Game 2 from Truist Park is coming at you next.
Jackson sued.
Welcome back. Truist Park is ready to go here on a Saturday night. The Red Sox and the Braves winning last night in walk-off fashion in 10 innings. And now they'll try to go ahead and win the series here this evening against the Red Sox. Racetrack lineup for Chad Tracy. Once again starts with Duran, Gasper, and Abreu, just like it did last night. And on the mound for the Atlanta Braves, it is the double nickel, number 55, Bryce Elder.
That is not an error that you see there. 1.81 is the ERA to go with a spectacular 180 opponent's batting average against Tier 4 Bryce Elder. He has been excellent. There have been changes in the repertoire, the way that he used his four-seamer. He has added a cutter, and it has all been paying off for Bryce Elder.
And that leads us to our Ford Keys tonight.
You need to respect your Elder, but just this one in particular. Listen, Bryce Elder is in the Cy Young conversation and will continue to have it. He's been excellent. He deserves your respect. You know the phrase, close but yes cigar. What are we talking about? Games that have finished with a run differential of 2, plus or minus 2. The Braves have played in 16 of those. They're 10-6. The close games, they are winning them. Now, it's only been the second fewest in baseball at 16, but when the Braves get close, they get their cigar.
And that was the case last night. Braves got up 2-0, relinquished that lead, but ultimately found a way in 10 innings with a Mike Yastrzemski walk-off double to left center. Saturday night, hope you're feeling all right. Here we go. Elder starting off. Duran with a swing and a miss at 94 miles per hour. So 3-2 the final yesterday. And now the Braves, with that effort yesterday, the Braves have not allowed over 3 runs in 9 straight games. And certainly Bryce Elder has been a big part of that as well. And there's last night's hero, Mike Yastrzemski.
What a great moment it was. And I loved his comment after the game. He said, to be honest with you, I was a little bit more upset that I didn't get the bunt down. And luckily he got what ended up being the game-winning hit. But that's the kind of guy that Yaz is. Bunting's overrated. Just rake instead.
Unfortunately, Duran is raking this deep to right. He's going to one-hop the wall. He's got great speed, and he's at second base easily to start off the ball game.
Now that's going to be a frustrating one for Bryce Elder. You're going to see this breaking ball, right? That's the slider. It's an 0-2 count. He wants that buried, trying to go for the swing and miss, and instead it caught a lot of the plate, which allowed Duran to get to it. He had him set up perfectly for the punch out.
Yeah, so an 0-2 double for Duran. And Mickey Gasper at the plate now. First pitch, bouncer to short. Well, Duran stays there, and certainly Bryce Elder will take that. Racetrack defense. Once again, it's Dubon, Harris, and a Zokar in right because Boston is throwing a lefty. So Yastrzemski, just like last night, will begin on the bench, and Sandy Leon is catching once more.
Yeah, Sandy did a nice job right throughout a couple of runners yesterday defensively. We mentioned it, and it's been an area where the Braves have lacked a little bit, but he's improved that number greatly very quickly. Catching the theme, 3 straight hitters swinging at the first pitch, and I imagine in their hitters meeting today they realize how good Bryce Elder is doing, and so they've been hunting strikes very early.
And swinging at the 0-1 fastball. 0-2 here to Wilyer Abreu.
All right, good time for the first ball of the inning. It's been 6 pitches and 6 strikes from Elder.
.80 degrees. We do have a few clouds today. We hadn't seen clouds here in Atlanta the last 4 days, but it's very pleasant. Low humidity. It's another strike as that one is fouled away. Want to see him bury that breaking ball down in the dirt here a little bit.
I think it'd be a good one. Go ahead and take a chance here. And that last pitch was out of the zone. Don't mind it at all. Right, elevate the fastball, get it up above the zone, trying for the swing and miss. There we go.
Change up. Vic Carapazza down there at third tonight. Home plate umpire is Nick Lentz this evening. Ronald was doing more base running drills before the game. Looked really good, but still no official word on when he will return. If it's not in Miami, likely to be when the Braves return home next weekend to face the Nationals.
He's giving Ozzie a hard time about his defensive positioning.
He's always giving Ozzie a hard time about something. Swing and a miss. Buries that slider down and in, and Abreu is gone.
That's a nice job. That was the one that we were waiting on, the first one that Abreu sees on pitch number 7 of this at bat. And wow, he was not even close to that baseball. Oh, there's a lot of space between the ball and the barrel.
Nasty pitch from Elder, and now 2 down. You still have Duran at second, and the cleanup man is Wilson Contreras. But again, that slider at 31% has been the lead pitch so far this year for Bryce Elder. A couple of good ones there to start Contreras. 0-2. And he struck him out. What a job by Elder after giving up that double to get the next 3 in order.
Really, really well done. He had Contreras thinking about that slider. Instead, some early cheese off the charcuterie board.
job escaping an issue there in the top of the first. Now the Braves coming to the plate. Those beautiful City Connects. The lineup is brought to you by Racetrack. Baldwin and Harris had solo homers yesterday for Walt Weiss's crew. On the mound, Peyton Tolley. So yesterday we saw a young lefty for Boston, and the same thing tonight.
Yeah, a little bit of a different build. This kid at 6'6", 250 pounds. You can see the numbers. They have been excellent. He gets right on top of you.
Driven to center. Baldwin has left the building. 2 pitches into the bottom of the first. It's 1-0. Solo homer in the first inning yesterday from the 2-hole. Tonight he does it from the leadoff spot.
And jumping on a 95-mile-an-hour sinker. You and I were talking before the game. At least I brought it up, and I was like, a little bit surprised to see Drake Baldwin back in the leadoff spot. And Walt's like, this is why.
That was a laser beam out of here to straightaway center. He continues his theme. That's now 12 of his 13 homers, solo shots. We might have back-to-back. Leaping up on the track, it is caught by Duran. Ozzie just missed it.
Let's go back to the Drake Baldwin home run. I mentioned the fastball here, left on left with the 2-seamer, meaning it's going to have some run, or at least it's supposed to. That one did not look like it moved very much at all. And a little rinse and repeat here for Drake Baldwin on what he did yesterday. 407 feet to center field. This time 421 feet.
Boy, some healthy swings here off of Tolley in the first. 2 down. How about this for Drake Baldwin? 8 first-inning homers. That is the most in baseball. Judge and Schwarber had 7 along with Drake, and he just went past them.
And look out, Ricky. We kind of joked about it the last time that he had the opportunity to lead off and hit a homer. He's got, what, 80 to go now.
And now Austin Riley.
So even though you see a pretty decent 2-seam fastball and the usage for Tolley, he is not a ground ball pitcher. You've seen it early, obviously, the home run and a couple of flyouts. It's a well below average ground ball rating.
We didn't really introduce him too much because things got loud quickly, but 23-year-old lefty, CJ told you, big fella, 6'6", 250. Entered the season as the Red Sox top prospect, so they have high hopes for him, just like they do for Connolly Early, who threw yesterday.
That's a low arm angle that you can see there, 28 degrees on average for Tolley.
And 97 in there, no question about it. But Baldwin with a bomb to give the Braves a 1-0 lead.
Great way to get it started here. The Drake again. We love the Drake.
Wonderful night for a ball game, and Braves country enjoying an early lead thanks to Drake Baldwin. And now Elder back to work against 5, 6, 7.
Some great drone work right there. We can see that area from where we are, but get a much better feel for what's actually going on in that section. That's pretty cool up there.
And it's out there in left field. So many good spots to, or out there in right field, sorry. So many good spots here to take in a ballpark at Truist. Taking a ballpark, a ball game at Truist Park.
There is a Milner in left, right? Holby Milner, at least he was. Because that was the Milner sign, and I don't know what company that is, but they have some signage here at the ballpark, and it was the lefty with the Cubs, right?
Yes.
He's no longer here.
Yeah, it's been a nice homestand so far. Braves taking 2 of 3 from the Cubs, and now winning the first of 3 here against the Red Sox last night. Caught the corner.
Oh yeah, do it. Challenge it.
Are they going to give it to him? Yes, they will.
Oh, thank you. They're going to be super disappointed.
Pitch on the ball. Hitter is challenging.
just like that, Boston down to 1.
Ball confirmed. Boston has 1 challenge remaining.
You don't want to question home plate umpire Nick Lentz. On April 30th, he had a perfect game. He was 129 for 129 calling balls and strikes in that Royals-Rays game. Only the 3rd time that's happened since they began tracking that data back in 2015.
And I will say, so he does have 19 ABS overturns this year. But what's interesting about it is 16 have come from the catcher. So only 3 by batters.
So batters be a little hesitant tonight.
And that's tied for the 3rd most in baseball on the catcher side.
So Elder got behind 3-0. Then it's a little flare out to shallow center, and Kim goes out to catch it. Matthew Kaminsky, organist playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, with Ceddanne Rafaela coming up here to the plate. First pitch, line to right. Zokar is there. It's always fun to play along with the organ here at Truist.
So no Narvaez in the lineup tonight. I don't even know if I remember what the theme to the Incredible Hulk was, but I feel like I would recognize it if I heard it.
You know this one?
Yeah, of course. Mike Myers.
There you go. From the Halloween movies, with Marcelo Meyer at the plate.
I think I would have played the Oscar Mayer hot dog song if there is one. There is one, definitely, right back those 80s and 90s commercials. There was a jingle. I am an Oscar Mayer.
That's it. Gretchen just said no singing, but there is good defense. Nice play by Ozzie. Quick inning. Bottom of the 2nd, 1-0 Atlanta. Let's see the defense for the Boston Red Sox, brought to you by Racetrack. Duran, Rafaela, Abreu, very capable all around the infield and outfield. The Braves have been hitting the ball to the outfield a lot here early. That one to the track off the bat of Dubon.
Seems like similar game plan against both of these pitchers, right? Looking for something early. We know how good, of course, Bryce Elder has been. And with the great stuff that you get from Tolle, you know he's going to be in the zone early. He also has strikeout prowess to him. So if it's in the zone, you'd like to get aggressive. And the Braves' aggressive swings have been good ones so far.
Yeah, or all 4 balls in play by the Braves have been to the outfield, and that 1 strikeout of Riley. Of course, Baldwin's went over the wall in center field.
It's a weird place to be in when you know that their bullpen is beat up a little bit, which it is right now. To say, do we try to work the count up on the starter to get to the bullpen early? But then at the same time, you feel like your best chances against a guy like Tolle is going to jump on a first pitch fastball that's in the zone.
Bouncer toward the middle, backhanded. Well done by Meyer at second base. Ha-Seong Kim 0 for 4 last night. Kim did score the game-winning run, and we talked about it a little bit, but there is a rule in the rule book. The situation in the 10th inning last night is that actually Raisel Iglesias in the pitcher spot was supposed to be running out at second base. But if that's the case in extra innings with the ghost runner, you can say, no, we want the guy before that to go out to second, and that was Kim, and that's why he was the winning run.
Yeah, I was unaware of that rule. I don't think I've seen it yet have to come into play, at least the game that I've been working. Makes some sense. It's 2 ways to look at it, right? Trying to protect pitchers, and you want to be able to the pitcher to stay in the game, with just more rules now protecting the pitchers than ever. But the flip side of it is, if there's a reason why you've lost your DH and that's a risk that you've taken, why should you get rewarded for it? So I see both sides of it.
A quick second inning on both sides. The The third inning is brought to you by Audi. Experience the all-new Audi Q3 at your local Atlanta area Audi dealer. Quickly through 2 innings here, 1-0 Atlanta. Monasterio, the 8th hitter in the order. Bryce Elder, he just gets up there, gets ahead of hitters, throws strikes, and he's doing the same thing tonight.
He's doing it at an incredibly high rate tonight with his usual good pace, and he's put these Boston Red Sox hitters on notice right away.
Only 6 of his 28 pitches have been balls. Now 7 of 29.
And outside of that 3-0 count to Yoshida, they've been pretty strategic, right, when he's gone outside of the zone.
Bouncer to Olsen. Elder covers. Well, again, that 1.81 ERA, that is the best in the National League as far as qualified starters is concerned. It's been just such a tremendous start to the year for Elder. You say start, now you're kind of getting into the middle portion of the season with this being start number 10 for the right-hander.
I mean, think about it. The idea of making 30 starts in a year these days is a big deal, right? It used to be like 32 to 35 was kind of a full season. You can win a Cy Young Award with 25 or 26 now. And so, yeah, I mean, a third of the way here for Bryce Elder, and it's been dominance.
Bottom of the order here in Durban. And we've talked about it, partner, but you go back to the pitch mix as we talked about. The slider is the one that he's throwing the most. How he kind of flipped the usage of the 2-seamer and 4-seamer. That cutter that we just saw. It's just all really worked well together for Bryce Elder.
Oh, I got to go check to see if was that the first one. I mean, that cutter has been kind of left-handed only for the most part this year.
And he threw them back-to-back to Durban. I think those might have been the first 2, and then he gets him to ground to short.
I can't remember if there was one other that jumped out. We'll see here. I got to go back and look real quick. So yeah, it says 0% cutters going into this game, so I'll take that as a he hadn't thrown one yet, and now he's up to 0.8%.
And that's the mix that we were talking about compared to last year. Bryce Elder doing Bryce Elder things. Once again, 1-2-3 for the Red Sox. Third inning brought to you by Audi. Experience the all-new Audi Q3 at your local Atlanta area Audi dealer. Back down to Wiley.
Well, Brandon, Sandy Leon getting the start behind the plate tonight, giving Drake Baldwin the night off. And I had a chance to talk to Walt Weiss before the game about what he's seen from Sandy. And, you know, he mentioned a couple things. We all know about the game calling advantages. We all know about what he's able to do from a blocking standpoint as well. But how about the throw he made down to third base last night? That got Walt's attention, basically saying, you can't throw it any faster than that between the pop time and it might have been one of the plays of the game.
Yeah, his defense, and then he's provided a couple of hits as well when he's been in the lineup. So Sandy Leon has fit in nicely so far here.
The Braves knew what they were doing, right? When first of all, they kind of did him the favor to let him go play in Mexico, but then as soon as the need came up to go right back to Sandy, they knew what they were getting. And again, he felt like he's come in with a little bit more of an aggression to him.
The ground out to short.
He knows these pitchers, right? There's not a lot of that you really have to learn, and everybody respects the work that he's done. So nice to have him back.
Yeah, 37 now, parts of 13 big league seasons. So he's just one of those guys that knows what he's doing. He knows how to work pitchers. He's good in the clubhouse. And people have said, well, why did he go play in Mexico? It was his choice. He was playing in Gwinnett, and he thought, I'm getting up there as far as how much time I have left. I want to go experience that. And little did he know that about a week later, 2 weeks later, the Braves would call and say, hey, we need you again. And here he is.
It's the life of a backup catcher and kind of the floating around, the flexibility that you like to have, too. And that may have been part of it for him. Right now, a team like the Braves, if there was an opportunity to go somewhere else, probably would let you have that, right? If an emergency popped up with another organization. But it's a weird thing for the backup catchers, the up and down guys. You always try to put yourself in the right spot so you can make a move when an opportunity opens up.
Sean Murphy battling that broken finger on the left hand from the catcher's interference in LA. Another start tonight in right for Jose Azocar. This is hit well. Rafael is not going to get to it. He does stop it, but not before Azocar is standing at second base with a double.
I'll tell you what, I thought that was past Rafael. He took as wide of an angle as he possibly could. This ball is stung off the bat of Azocar, and as soon as it got down, I was like, oh, that's a triple. And give Rafael some credit for keeping it to a double. I mean, you see how deep he went on the angle and then had to lunge for it. If it gets past him, that's an easy 3.
Azocar replacing a happy Ronald Acuna Jr. out in right field tonight. And now here's Drake Baldwin. It is 1-0 because of Baldwin. If you missed it, solo homer to center to start the bottom of the first. And Drake is our Georgia Natural Gas Greener Life Impact Player.
So it was a nice 650 plate appearances coming into today, which made it a fun search. And then he went and homered in his first at bat. This is the most left-on-left homers in now your first 651 plate appearances. As an Atlanta Brave, he ties David Justice.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
To think you're doing it at this age. Now, David Justice was pretty young back then. He was the Rookie of the Year in '90, but Drake has been at every turn exceeding expectations.
It's interesting there with Justice that it actually covered 3 seasons. So he must have been a September call-up probably in '89. He only played in 16 games. And then had the 504 plate appearances in '90, but it wasn't until he got to '91. So spread out over 3, but impressive by both men nonetheless.
And he's going to take a walk here in the third. Totally a little more careful this time around with Baldwin.
Remember, Ozzie came out hacking in his first at bat and maybe just missed it slightly off the barrel. Hit it decent. Didn't quite get enough of it, so totally better be careful again first pitch.
Yeah, Durant caught it out at the wall in the first inning off the bat of Ozzie. And Gasper going to go out and talk to the lefty. A message right here from Zaxby's.
Zaxby's Giant Wraps, Chicken Bacon Ranch, Asian Sensation, and Buffalo Blue. Who's got the sauce? Zaxby's.
City Connect Saturday here at Truist Park. The Braves trying to add to this 1-0 lead in the third. Ozzie pops it back our way. So this pitcher Toley, a second-round pick back in '24. He was a two-way star in college at Wichita State as a freshman and sophomore. Was a very good DH and first baseman. Goes to TCU his final year as a junior. Focuses on pitching, and that leads him to being a second-round pick with the Red Sox.
Good reminder how hard it is, right, to do both. People talk about, oh, we're going to develop more two-way players.
Another one out to left off the bat of Ozzie. And there's Durant.
But even at the college level, right, Paul Skeens, same thing. Certainly could hit, but the focus became more on the pitching side, and trying to develop both is near impossible. I get it, Shohei Ohtani, but you want to be so good at pitching. It's so important. It takes so much work that you, more often than not, like Spencer Schwellenbach, got to give up the bat.
Yeah, the winner of the best two-way player award in college baseball, it's called the John Olerud Award. And Skeens won that in 2022 at Air Force before going to LSU. In 2021, it was won by the Braves' Spencer Schwellenbach at Nebraska.
I can't remember. Did Skeens did he not hit his junior year? His first year at LSU? Go back.
Matt Olson high in the air. And it's taken in by Durbin. So the Braves do get a couple of base runners, but no damage in the third.
Braves with a 1-0 lead over the Red Sox, and Bryce Elder continuing to work efficiently as he seems to always do. And how about the way Bryce Elder has begun innings this year, guys? Take a look at these numbers. An OPS against of 310 against the leadoff batter in a given inning. That's the lowest in all of Major League Baseball. Now, he was pretty good at it last year with an OPS around 650, but that number has plummeted. And CJ, how often do you talk about as a pitcher trying to get that leadoff man down?
Right, and your ability, of course, to keep that leadoff hitter off base and how it could lend itself to bigger innings. It's never going to be a zero, right? And guys certainly have battled. And tonight with that leadoff double that we saw, right, doing a really nice job after the fact. But it is the key to quick, successful innings, and we have seen those here tonight from Bryce Elder.
And that Duran double, that's the only base runner. Elder has retired 9 in a row since, and now he faces Mickey Gasper. And Bryce on Tuesday will turn the ripe old age of 27. He's getting up there.
He has done a lot already in his career. He's been through a lot.
Zokar has to pump the brakes. Got away from him for a second, but Gasper stays at first.
And one of the few times that we've seen Bryce Elder fall behind and kind of have to go to the fat part of the zone there, and that one upper third. And Zokar, you're right, he looked like he was a little bit close to that hop, and he was, but no harm, no foul.
You mentioned for Elder that he's seen a lot. You really think about it, for a guy who pitched in college at Texas and had an all-star campaign in 23 and then the up and down from AAA, it feels like he's a guy that probably would be older than 26 going on 27, but there's a long shelf life ahead of this guy.
Exactly. It's prime years now, right, as far as his actual age goes. But yet he's got the all-star appearance and everything else, the good, the bad under his belt, the adjustments that have needed to be made. He's gone through that entire process, and we sit there and talk about, like, oh, he made a nice adjustment on the slider, as if he just changed the script and everything just went along really smoothly. That process sometimes can be frustrating. There can be a lot of up and down in it. There's some mental components to it as well, your confidence level. But he has made it look simple.
He struck out Abreu in the first. Got a 2-2 count here.
It's got to be frustrating for an umpire. You grind all night calling balls and strikes. A guy fouls the ball off like that one there, and then is still asking, was that a strike? I feel like I would just make stuff up. Don't worry about it. You already swung at it. Who cares?
Just focus on yourself here. It's a pretty good swing on a tough pitch to hit by Abreu. And back-to-back singles here to start the fourth.
That was that good changeup, and you're absolutely right. You credit Abreu here for staying on this long enough. He had struck out against the slider in his first at bat, so you feel like you made him aware in and that you've opened up the outside part, but he stays on it just enough.
So back-to-back singles. And now Wilson Contreras. Traded this offseason from the St. Louis Cardinals. The Red Sox taking on his 2 years and $34.5 million left on his contract.
So far, and it's only a few pitches into a plate appearance and a half, but he's got Contreras up in his own mind right now. Remember the punch out on the fastball when he no doubt was thinking 0-2. Something off speed, probably the slider, and then he thinks he's going to jump on a first pitch fastball and instead he swings at a slider in the dirt.
And this one bounced to Riley, and everybody's going to be safe. With Contreras running, Riley had his mind on a 5-4-3 double play, but unfortunately the bases are loaded and nobody is out.
It's like maybe he came up a little bit quickly. We'll see here on what felt like was going to be a tailor-made. As you can see, they're catching the heel of the glove. A little bit surprised that the throw went to second base in that spot, right? You have that internal clock, and this is a little bit of a risk here, an aggressive play, but he probably still had that out at first.
So first error of the series for Atlanta. And now Yoshida. On the outside corner. Tough spot here for Bryce Elder in the fourth. Yoshida, 7 years in Japan, now 4 years in the bigs with the Red Sox. And hacking at the cutter, 1-2. Elder would love to get his third strikeout of the night right here. It's not going to happen though. Shallow left. Dubon has it. Gasper tags. Play at the plate. Oh, safe. We'll have to get another look at this. Bang, bang.
And if you challenge two things, because you can on one play. I would challenge the tag, and I'd also challenge whether or not he left early. He looked really close.
Braves will challenge.
But like I said, hopefully they just get this one. A lot of times if it's going to be more than one play, you got to go out and you got to tell the umpire that you want to challenge both. And again, just a quick look. I thought maybe he left early. I think they got him. Looked like they had him on the shoulder, just a matter of whether or not that foot got in there. And was it down? A lot of times it pops up. See, that front foot looked like it popped up and went over home plate. Now the heel might have hit though. Worth the challenge. It's going to be close. So it hits the ground. Oh yeah, you know what? It may not have actually hit the plate. What do you think?
I think it will not get overturned, and I think if he was called out, it would not get overturned.
So I think you see that left foot hit before the plate. Originally looked like it was on the plate. It comes up, doesn't touch it. I think he got the shoulder. Watch it hit the ground here, and then watch it come up. He has not touched the plate yet. I think he's out.
I agree that he didn't. I just don't know that they can definitively say that that toe did not scrape the top left edge.
They should just ask me.
Yeah. Ooh, that's about as close as it gets.
It'll take some time. And then the other thing, whether or not he left early. Now, they didn't challenge this part. But I think what happened with Gasper is he saw that Dubon actually started going back a little bit, so he wasn't under it perfectly. I guess not.
I think that was clean.
But he still made a great throw, right? Even though he kind of caught that baseball going a little bit backwards where he felt like he had time to be camped and come in on it, he still made a great throw.
Vic Carapazza is the crew chief, working third base tonight. By the way, Vic served 4 years in the Air Force, so with it being Armed Forces Day, special hat tip with the players wearing those Armed Forces hats out there to Vic Carapazza, our crew chief tonight.
Those are the things that you just never really saw pre-replay or paid that close attention to, right? It looks like that foot gets in there and then we get to see it in slow motion and you realize, you know what, it actually hit and went up and may not have caught home plate. We'd never expect an umpire to be able to make that kind of call in real time.
This is about as long as it takes, so replay center is busy looking at every angle.
The last two that went long, I was over because I felt like they worked in the Braves' favor and they didn't. So let's change that momentum.
Let's change that tonight. Here we go,
After
folks.
review, the call on the field stands. The runner is safe. Atlanta loses their challenge.
And the boos rain down at Truist, and the ball game is officially tied. But as you said, just a great effort by Dubon. Did all he could to try to get Gasper. Runners at first and second, one out. Batter is Rafaela.
Yeah.
And now they'll peel over there.
Oh, that would have been a nice redemption. We're all on the same page.
Well, you might as well try it. Doesn't hurt anything. Ooh, getting a little indigestion from that 9-foot charcuterie board we had back there before the game.
Oh, it was great.
Fantastic.
What was your favorite part?
One of those cheeses. I don't know. I was just going cheese to cheese. I think it was the Parmesan.
You have the candied, what was it, candied pecans? Pecans, however you say it, whatever it is. And then those almonds, I don't know what those were, but those were amazing.
All right, another challenge here.
Call is confirmed. Atlanta has one challenge remaining.
So Nick Lentz, home plate umpire's feeling pretty good. He's 2 for 2, and both teams now with one challenge.
Kind of hating technology this inning. It's been a bad tech inning for the Braves.
Saw Rafaela make that nice play to cut off the Azócar ball in center field. And he won a Gold Glove last year in a breakout campaign as the captain of the outfield for Boston.
And a guy who can also play in the infield. They got themselves a good one. I kind of wondered, Trevor Story getting near the end, would Rafaela be considered maybe to come back into the infield? But it sounds like he's going to stay out there in center.
In on the hands. Infield fly. Trevor Story, by the way, went on the 10-day IL today. He has an issue with his groin dating back to April, so they're going to let him rest and reevaluate. So no Story for the rest of this series, and at least for the next 9 days for Boston.
A lot of big injuries going on around baseball. Clay Holmes fractured a leg, got hit by a comebacker for the New York Mets. Could be out maybe for the year. Did you follow that story at all on Skubal surgery? I found it very interesting because, of course, a couple of Braves had the loose bodies, and that's what Skubal has. But apparently it got a little experimental with him.
That all happened, at least the final throw for him here in Atlanta for Skubal. We'll talk more about that when we get back. Elder works his way out of it with just one given up. Well, Hilbert Margol, private first class, was honored here in between the inning to a standing ovation, and deservedly so. It's always special anytime, but on a day like today, Armed Forces Day across Major League Baseball, and Braves doing a great job at honoring all these veterans.
Yeah, it's been a really great day. Pre-game ceremonies were fantastic. They continue to happen now throughout the game.
We had guys coming in on parachutes before the game.
Army Rangers, right, I think?
Yes, and it was cool. It was really, really cool. Huge American flag out there. Every branch of the armed services was honored. To put a bow on the loose bodies conversation that was Skubal, reason I wanted to revisit is because people have heard that term a lot more lately. Heard it with Schwellenbach and with Waldrop. But, you know, that's when those pieces of bone or cartilage are kind of floating around, and it can disrupt the pitcher's arm and elbow really quickly.
And now Blake Snell, same thing, right? Got put on the IL. They're not sure if he's going to be back this year. They're kind of hoping that'll be the case, but it's always what we call kind of a scope surgery. And so the recovery is not nearly as long. But what Skubal did, and it's kind of a newer procedure, maybe within the last year, is that the thickness of the scope is super, super tiny. And so because of that, there's less damage that's done going in. He is already playing catch. And they think the recovery time is cut down significantly, because that can be, again, everyone's different, 3 to 4 months maybe if things go well. And they first started talking maybe 2 to 3 months, which would be kind of incredible. So the technology there always getting better.
And again, that Skubal issue seemed to really come to a head here in Atlanta after he threw a pitch at the end of last month against the Braves, and he signaled for medical attention. Then he said, no, I'm fine, I'm going to stay in the game, and he did. And then after that, ultimately was shut down.
Just feels like it's the pitcher injury of 2026, the loose bodies.
Loose bodies.
It is fascinating. They will float around in there, and they may never bother you, or they might get lodged, and then all of a sudden you can't straighten out your arm, and it goes away again. It's really odd.
Seven pitches so far in this at bat. 4 foul balls for Riley. And on the 8th pitch of the at bat, he sends it to shallow center, and the Gold Glover sliding in, Rafaela.
Really nice play out there. Sliding catch for Rafaela, and he makes it look easy. Ice cream cone at the end.
It almost popped out on him. Dubon on the carpet, backhanded, and Monasterio fires across. A message here from Delta.
From Braves country to the world. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
Just 2 pitches seen tonight by Mauricio Dubon. It's been aggressive.
They flew to the warning track and right back in the 2nd, and that ground out here in the 4th. And Harris coming up swinging. Duran in foul territory, and he's got it. And a 1-2-3 inning for Peyton Tolley. TV, stream the rest of the year within Braves territory for less than $80. Watch games at home or on the go. Stay connected all year long. Visit Braves.tv and get hooked up now. Well, Elder and Tolley working quickly. 1 run for each side here as we head to the 5th.
Kind of what we anticipated, that this would be a pretty good pitcher's duel. Both of these guys on the mound, the struggling offense for the Boston Red Sox, and kind of going back to our 4 keys of the game, right? The little things that you have to do in these close games, and thinking about mistakes. Obviously, it's a big one on that ground ball from Austin Riley, but this game's still tied, and the little things are going to matter going forward.
I mean, all things considered there in that 4th, to get out of that with 1 run, you'll take that.
Yeah, bases loaded, nobody out, right? At that point, you know you're likely going to give up 1, and that's all you want it to be. Stay away from the beginning.
Riley with a chance to make amends, and he fires a bullet to Olsen.
Good backhand here by Austin Riley, and mentioned that good strong throw as well, all the way across the diamond. I think he's a little frustrated with the pitch and where it kind of ended up, right? He missed a couple arm side in that at bat to Monasterio.
Now he's got the bottom of the order, Caleb Durbin. This one bounces foul toward Riley.
And the drive for perfection will put you in spots that even when you get good results, you're still frustrated with yourself. And it's funny now from this chair, right? Because you realize, hey, you did a good job, you got an out. But I totally get it for guys that are extra driven and pushed hard. They don't give themselves credit for much.
Now you're comparing your sourdough bread.
That's right. That's how it was today. And I'll be honest with you, like the last round of bagels I made, I wasn't thrilled with. They tasted fine. Just be okay with it. Maybe the starter wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be, but the results were there. Do it.
Well, you could tell Sandy was thinking about it. That one might have been there. But both teams have already burned one.
The big thing there, right, that pitch is you're not chasing it. In the back of his mind, he's thinking, should I have done it? And then you get one like that is probably a ball. And you don't let the emotion carry over from pitch to pitch.
Looks like he's going to get Durbin after all. 2 away. Strong Arm brought to you by John Foyt Associates. Mentioned that 23 season for Bryce Elder. So let's compare where he was in 23 to this year in 26. And pretty similar. In fact, even better.
I would say so. The ERA certainly better. The batting average again significantly better by 53 points. The strikeouts to walks really good. And obviously in less innings and more strikeouts, he's a different guy. The repertoire is different and the results have been even better.
He's looking for a 1-2-3 top of the 5th. Jaron Duran got him for a double in the 1st inning and then grounded out in the 3rd. See the numbers there at the bottom for Duran. He struggled here to start the season. Elder trying to keep him cold here in Atlanta.
And he has excelled, not surprisingly, as we go 3rd time through the order here against the Boston Red Sox for Drake Baldwin. Just a 170 batting average against. He's actually had his bigger issues kind of 2nd time through. I say bigger issues, like he's still better than average, but it's the only area that sticks out even a little bit.
He gets Duran on the changeup and sets him down in order for the 3rd time in 5 innings. Does Bryce Elder.
And he does it with the changeup, and it is a good one here, fading away and going down to Duran.
Bryce Elder minor speed bump there in the 4th where he gave up the run, but outside of that, tremendous. And we've got a 1-1 game. Ha-Seong Kim leading off the home half. We came on wearing our mustaches in support of Mike Yastrzemski and Mustache May, and Peyton Tolley has one. Now his is a tribute to Tom Selleck's character in the 80s TV show Magnum PI, as he grew up watching that with his dad Chad, who loved Magnum PI. And so last year he started to grow it out. He liked it and he's sticking with it. So it's for Tom Selleck.
That's a pretty good Tom Selleck mustache, right? The big one is that you have to have some depth. You can go as wide as you want, but if you don't have depth, you're just not going to be able to pull it off.
And at 6'6", 250, he can pull off the facial hair. Can Peyton Tolley? Maybe the strongest TV character mustache, though, goes to Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec.
I would agree.
Curveball on the outside corner. Kim is down on strikes for the 2nd time.
He thought about it, but realizing probably not a good idea to challenge this one. This is a pretty good pitch from Tolley. You're going to see it just barely catch that outside corner, and that is textbook backdoor.
Former Red Sox catcher Sandy León. And he puts it in the air, shallow to the grass. And it'll be the shortstop Monasterio. A word right here from Chevrolet.
Get into a 2026 Chevy Trax, starting at $23,495. Proud partner of the Atlanta Braves.
Azócar had the double in the third inning, 1 for 1 tonight. He was 1 for 2 last night.
Oh, heads up, fella.
That landed in our section to our right.
Got it off.
Did someone jump over a seat?
No, he's just leaning forward. It wasn't going to make it to him. He dropped his beer. He no doubt had a shin burner. I think he spilled beer all over the women's seat in front of his, and maybe on her a little bit.
Azócar, if he keeps it fair, and he does, it's going to be a pair of doubles tonight for Jose Azócar.
That's why he's in the lineup batting right-handed against the lefty. It was a fastball that he got to last time. This time it's going to be the curveball. And a pretty good pitch to hit as it sat in the middle, and Jose Azócar drilling this thing down the left field line. Love seeing offense out of him, right? He's in there for the defense. He's in there because he is right-handed. Slugging here tonight with a couple of doubles.
And before that, Peyton Toley had retired 7 in a row, so that disrupts his groove. And now Drake Baldwin, who has a homer and a walk tonight, and add a single to that ledger. Azócar's coming home. Duran's throw late. Play at second, and Baldwin is out. But Baldwin gets the job done, and Azócar would chalk all over his face. Gives the Braves a 2-1 lead. Our what a burger, what a play. Baldwin has now driven in both tonight.
Similar pitch that he hit his home run on. Azócar, like he jumped in a box of jelly donuts. Powder everywhere. And Drake, in that situation, look at it 2 ways, right? You go ahead and try to draw the throw to second to make sure that the run scores. It was a really important run. Not sure what made a difference, but either way it works out. And
now Elder right back to business.
So Toley was 1 strike away from getting out of that inning, right? It's a 1-2 count that he had to Azócar. 2 pitches later, he's down by 1, and it let up a run, and the inning was over. That's how fast it can happen.
It's also for Azócar his first career game with multiple doubles. And that last one certainly came in handy tonight for Atlanta. I think he still has some chalk there on his neck. That's a good call, though. It looked like he jumped in a box of powdered sugar. That's right. He was
still breathing a little bit heavy out there.
Elder getting ahead of another hitter. The only inning that Elder has topped 20 pitches was 21 that he threw in the 4th. That's going to be overturned. Nick Lentz missed that one.
Pitcher's called a strike. The hitter is challenging.
By a pretty wide margin.
Call was overturned. Counts 2-2.
I mean, that even gets a smile out of a Bray. You're like, serious, dude?
Yeah, mentioned that Nick Lentz had a umpire perfect game on April 30th, but not tonight. The 2-2 from number 5-5. Reaching for the four-seam fastball. Abreu flies to left. I wonder if the Umpires Association does something if they get a perfect game, because there's only been 3 for an umpire.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's obviously more rare. We have obviously the data doesn't go back nearly as far as pitchers' perfect games, but it is extremely impressive when that happens. They should.
I mean, that's 3 in over a decade.
Yeah.
I feel like they deserve something.
It's a big deal.
Elder has now reached 80 pitches with 2 outs here in the 6th. Tenth start of the season for Bryce. Came into tonight with a 1.81 ERA, number 1 among National League starters. No runs given up last Sunday in LA, and now starting here on a Saturday in Atlanta. Gets by Kim. 2-out single for Wilson Contreras.
And this is the guy that has seen Bryce Elder more than any other hitter. He came in with 9 plate appearances against Bryce Elder, 3 for 9 with a single, and here he is now tonight, 1 for 3 with a single.
So the inning will continue on to Yoshida. I mentioned that start being Sunday in LA because we've talked so much over the last month about how Bryce Elder prefers to stay on his regular rest. Got an extra day of rest before this start tonight, but it doesn't seem to have affected him at all. And Dubon over a couple of steps to grab it. A single, but no damage in the 6th.
Engineered to Win, presented by Range Rover Sport, and that man right there, Ozzie Albies. Take a look how engineered he's been to win when we look at his batting average against breaking balls over the last couple of seasons. Now 23 was a great year, but the last couple of years there's been some struggles against the breaking balls for Ozzie. Not this year. 314 is that batting average.
And we've talked about him having the health issues last couple of years. Not sure how that wrist felt. He downplayed it because he didn't want to make a big deal out of it. But bottom line, whether it's the health, whether it's just confidence in the batter's box, other adjustments, Ozzie has looked tremendous.
The way he's driving the ball especially is what has stuck out with Ozzie. And he started the very first game of the season when he was batting third and hit that home run.
He almost got one out of the park back in the first inning. He hit it to the wall and left. Right field, pretty deep, but Abreu on the edge of the track. So you got Matt Olson coming up, and you saw him after a swing last night kind of grab at his elbow, and some people were talking about this after. Walt Weiss addressed it, and for more on that, let's go down to Wiley.
Yeah, I think the Braves made it out okay on this one, Brandon. Walt said that Matt told him that it happens from time to time on a swing and a miss or a check swing where he kind of hyperextends the elbow. But it's happened to him a few times before, and it's never turned into a long-term issue. When I asked Matt about it, he neglected to admit it was anything. He basically said, I feel good, just struck out. It was a funky swing.
And that's become more of a trend right in the game. You're not going to even give an inch if something is bothering you. Clearly he wins, but it's been a non-factor for him, right back in there, and you don't see his swings being affected at all.
Yeah, I think the key for me is, as Walt told Wiley, is we have seen that before. I think it was just more noticeable last night. But he said he feels good, and here he is in the lineup again this evening. That swing's pretty good, but it's going to hang up in the air for Rafaela.
So you see this pitch count in control right now for Peyton Tolley at just 66 pitches through 5 2/3. You and I were having a pretty interesting conversation with Lou Merlone before the game, who does color for the Red Sox on the television side, about the 6-man rotation that they use in the minor leagues. And then when guys come up now from the minor leagues or some of their younger pitchers, when they're on regular rest, it's almost like a short rest. We talk about Bryce Elder liking to be on regular rest, but 4 days in between starts is a lot shorter than what some of these younger pitchers are now used to. And we know the Braves try to build in days for guys like Chris Sale, but it's kind of a fascinating point with the way the minor league schedule works. And there's some old timers laughing right now that 4 days would be considered short rest.
And for Elder, like we said, an extra day of rest for him before the start tonight.
So in the case of Connolly Early yesterday, it was regular rest, but that's why he came out early. No pun intended.
We'll take all your puns, intended, unintended. 2-1 Braves after 6. Comcast Business defending the mound, and Tolley and Elder both solid tonight.
Certainly, and maybe the one thing that sticks out is the lower strikeout numbers, and especially in the case of Tolley, who's got the big fastball, has struck out quite a few this year.
7th inning starts with Rafaela hitting it to left, heading for second. Oh, did he keep his foot on the bag? Yes, according to Edwin Moscoso, for a double.
So he was thinking a base ahead, but he saw something in left field that then gave him the confidence to go for it. He had a pretty keen eye out there on Mauricio Dubon. You'll see this ball that is lined down the left field line. I don't know if there was a bobble in there or not, or maybe just the way that he had to reach for it. And you see that Mauricio had to get it in quickly. He was not going to have time to plant, so tried to rush, and that's close.
Ooh.
I think when the right foot came up, the left foot was down on the base.
But a double tying run at second. Bouncer, and Elder with that effort keeps that runner at second base and gets Meyer.
You're absolutely right. If that gets past him, Rafaela is going to be at third base.
We were talking about Bryce Elder and an extra day of rest and how he likes to stay on the regular rest. Wiley, what do you have on that?
Well, Walt Weiss said that they're going to try and pick their spots, so they do give him an extra day. Of course, they don't want to run Bryce into the ground as much as he does prefer the regular rest. Nice play. But it seems like the Braves are going to pick their spots when it comes to giving Bryce that extra day. And, you know, I think you wouldn't be telling the whole truth, guys, if you didn't mention that routine makes guys' lives a lot easier. I've talked to a number of people around the Braves clubhouse, and nobody wants to make excuses, but when you're in kind of that role where you get pushed into whatever situation is called for, it can make things a little more difficult, and I think that's part of what Matt Olson was talking about with the way the Braves have gotten support from some of those glue guys being pressed into tough spots.
And Bryce Elder certainly is familiar with that as well, right? Who he was kind of a year ago. It was when we needed you. It was up. It was down. It was we're in a jam, or we don't need you now. And so no doubt his routine had gotten disrupted, but now he becomes a priority guy this year.
That's his 89th pitch of the night. He gets out of it, so he's through 7. Only 1 run against him so far. In a little bit, we're going to get you the stretch fueled by Georgia Natural Gas, but we are going to stay here live for tonight's version of God Bless America from the great Timothy Miller. Enjoy, everybody.
God Bless America, performed by Braves opera tenor Timothy Miller.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer.
God bless America, land that I love. beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Service, savings.
ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Service, savings, sustainability. It's that simple.
Welcome to the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Nick Green alongside Peter Moylan. And Peter, we knew this would be a good pitching matchup coming in. Peyton Tolley, absolutely fantastic so far today. Bryce Elder, awesome again. And I feel like we've gotten used to Bryce Elder giving you long starts, limiting runs. Another one here today.
Just an outstanding job by Bryce. Obviously the leadoff double to start the game on an 0-2 pitch, and he wiped that away with a couple of punches to get out of the first, and then just went into Bryce Elder mode. He just puts his head down, makes pitches, gets out, doesn't let anything phase him, doesn't let any big inning phase him, gets a couple of runners on, pitches his way out of it, just giving up a single run with the bases loaded, none out in the fourth, and then comes back out in the seventh, gives up another leadoff double, bears down again, makes some pitches, fields his position. He's just been a true pro from the start of the season to now, and every 5 or 6 days, I can't wait to watch him pitch.
And the crazy part about it, he can get strikeouts when he needs to. He doesn't need to tonight. Only 3 strikeouts on the night, 17 combined over the previous 2 games. Let's get you back to Braves baseball after a quick word from our friends at Georgia Natural Gas.
When it comes to natural gas in Georgia, G&G leads the league. We keep it simple with great rates that save you money. We even make it easy to reduce your carbon footprint with greener life. Sign up in minutes at gng.com. It's that simple.
Well, Bryce Elder giving up the double to start the 7th, no problem. Gets the next 3 guys. Still 2-1. Our Toyota Trends feature tonight. So the Red Sox worst slugging against righties, and the Braves best in the National League against lefties.
And to some degree, it certainly has played out that way. We saw the home run from Drake Baldwin, a couple of doubles from Zokar. So there has been some slug tonight here for the Braves against a left-handed pitcher.
And Bryce Elder, 7 innings so far. He's at 89 pitches, so can come back out for the 8th.
And no action in either bullpen right now. It's always nice when you get games like this, especially when you're leading. And we got an outside shot at dual CGs tonight.
Center field off the bat of Dubon, and Rafaela backing up to grab it. As you mentioned, Tolley just over 70 pitches, so both guys have been very efficient tonight. Braves pitching, by the way, remember they're on that stretch here of 9 straight games without allowing over 3 runs. Could move to 10 tonight, but still some work to do. The Atlanta record is 12 straight games in that department, if you're wondering. Bunting.
Oh, nice.
Is that going to stay fair? At the last second. Went left to the chalk.
Looked really good, and a really smart idea here from Michael Harris. Think about the bunt that we saw that Isaiah kind of Falefa had fielded, right, that just went foul. And is the infield tilted that way? Is it just about the spin? Just missed.
That's right. Now Michael can just put it in the chop house. Little insurance maybe. Remember, for Peyton Tolley, just his 8th big league start, 12th big league appearance overall. Shallow out to center. Boy, Rafaela covers a lot of ground out there. I thought that was going to fall.
I think Tolley thought it as well. You can see kind of the expression on his face. We mentioned it. This is a really good defensive club, and you have a Gold Glove out there in center field. And doing it with a little bit of style is Rafaela.
Helping out his pitcher. And now here's Ha-Seong Kim. Again, for Boston this year, the biggest reason they're 18-26, they just have not had the punch offensively. They've had pitcher injuries, but guys like Tolley and Early, who we saw last night, have really stepped up to help fill those gaps. But Garrett Crochet has been out a few weeks now with a shoulder issue. Sonny Gray's missed some time with a hamstring injury. Remember, they went and got Ranger Suarez. That's a pretty good 1-2-3 when they're all healthy. And Tolley is cruising, but he's down 2-1 here after 7. He's only thrown 76 pitches. Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Truist. And how cool is this footage? We mentioned the parachuters landing at Truist before the ball game tonight. You can't get this footage anywhere, folks.
It's getting me a little bit dizzy, but that is awesome.
That is awesome. What a view from up there. Armed Forces Day across baseball. There's a big celebration here before Game 2 here of the Braves and Red Sox. So Bryce Elder back out there for the 8th. He gets Duran to pop it to Ha-Seong Kim. CJ, in the 7th inning between the two pitchers, we saw 12 pitches, and now Elder with a quick out here to start the 8th.
It's been pretty incredible to watch. Again, really good pitching matchup. Guys filling up the strike zone even when there's been some action. Bryce Elder in particular. We saw the leadoff double to start this game, leadoff double in the 7th inning that he was able to work around. And other than that, it's been cruise control for these two.
Now the Braves do have Martin Perez up. He is throwing in the pen right now. The batter, Gasper, is 1 for 3 with a single. Bounces it foul down the third base line.
So trying to get a feel here for Martin and why potentially he could be up. We know the bullpen was pretty busy last night. Robert Suarez has thrown 2 out of the last 3. Of course, Iggy threw 3 out of 4 now for him. 3 out of 4 for Dylan Lee. They did not really want to use Fuentes yesterday, and Walt talked about that after the game, but he also saw the opportunity to win a game, and so he took it. So he certainly would be down in this one. It's been a while since we have seen Martin Perez.
And he has been used in so many different situations. Obviously, as a starter, different spots in the bullpen. Getting ready in the 8th tonight. But Elder's going to get at least the first 2 outs here in the top of the 8th.
I wonder if he had Martin up just in case for Abreu if there was an issue, right? Because he is now slowed down. You get to look at that kind of bullpen monitor that we have for us, and very likely it was, you know, get ready for Abreu in case there's trouble. I don't think they're buying any time here because Martin is currently not throwing. And then it could potentially also be Yoshida now that nobody's on. There's a couple more hitters away. You probably would see a pinch hitter for him. This is more about strategy right now. 4th time through the order for Bryce Elder.
He's 3 pitches away from his season high of 98 that he threw in D.C. against the Nationals. And he's at a season high 7 2/3 right now as Elder. Abreu slaps it down the left field line. It is fair. He is going to head for second. The throw in there gets by Ozzie. Probably safe either way, and Abreu has a double.
Well, that was the sinker there, and a pretty good movement. Again, we see Abreu go out and get a pitch. Remember, it was the changeup that he got to last time that was good for his base hit back in the 4th inning. An aggressive throw here, and if it's a longer hop, they probably have him. That was a tough hop for Ozzie to be able to handle.
So the tying run in scoring position. 2-1 here in the 8th. Cleanup man Contreras at the plate. Drills it, but it's going to go foul.
They're trying to play along here and think about where Walt could potentially go. Again, this bullpen has been really busy, and it is May, right? Thinking about this is later in the season, you got a chance maybe to get yourself into the postseason. You're going to push a little bit harder, but I think Walt's going to be a little bit more conservative with his bigger arms.
0-2, and remember the Braves are in a stretch here of 13 games in 13 days. Makes it a little more challenging. Can Elder write one more paragraph here to finish this chapter tonight? 0-2. Boy, he started to swing. Contreras 1 for 3 tonight, 4 for 12 lifetime against Elder. Here comes pitch number 100 from number 55. And it's lifted high and deep to left. And the Red Sox have taken the lead. Ninth of the year for Contreras. That leads Boston. None bigger than that.
Slider here that they're trying to get away, and even though it's down below the zone, it is over the middle of the plate, maybe even inner third there. They're trying to sweep it away and go for the strikeout, but unfortunately, even though it was out of the zone, it was mislocation.
So Elder a pitch away from getting through 8 and leaving with a 2-1 lead, and then just like that, boom, Red Sox with a 3-2 advantage.
And I do think if the bullpen was in a different spot, I think Walt probably plays it differently.
Yoshida grounder. Olsen has it. Close at first. They got him. Elder beating him to the bag to end the top of the 8th. But now the Braves with some work to do. 8-9-1 coming up in the bottom half. To the Xfinity Club here in Truist. Well, you need to join the wait list. Braves.com/premium. It's the largest climate-controlled premium space in Truist Park. So whether it's hot, chilly, whatever, you're always comfortable there. There's sushi, great ballpark food. Join the waitlist, Braves.com/premium. So now the Braves, who lead the majors with 15 come from behind wins, are going to need some more of that magic. Down 3-2. Peyton Tolle in his young major league career has never recorded an out beyond the 7th inning. He will try to change that here tonight.
Fastball still looks good, and while you look at that velocity, you see 94. It's a two-seamer. It's got some movement. Again, he is so big. He is so tall. He gets well above average extension.
Leon hits it to left field, gave it a ride, but Duran is there.
And so the fastball plays higher than what you actually see on the radar gun.
Now they do have Garrett Whitlock throwing, the right-hander. as Tolley tries to work through the 8th. Zokar has been great tonight. A pair of doubles. And he scored that run in the 5th that at the time gave the Braves a 2-1 lead.
I think one more double here and the Braves win may lock you in for the Wiley Ballard post-game on the field interview. What do you think?
Yes, I would agree. I mentioned it, first time ever in his career he's had multiple doubles in a ball game.
So when he is right and Chapman is right, and just a pretty nasty 1-2 combo that they have at the back end of the Red Sox pen.
Between them and then Suarez and Iglesias for the Braves, it doesn't get much better than that.
Nope, I don't think you're going to see a better matchup in any single series. And obviously the Braves run even deeper.
Well, this time Zokar is going to be retired. Well, the Braves have 4 hits tonight. All of them have been between this man and the man that just flew out to right. Zokar has 2 hits, and then Baldwin the homer in the 1st and an RBI single in the 5th.
It's risky here from Chad Tracy.
Baldwin lifts it deep to left. Duran is back, and he's got it right there where the dirt meets the grass. And Tolley through 8th. New career high for the rookie. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Rooms to Go. Don't miss the Memorial Day sale going on now. By Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. And by Racetrack. Whatever gets you going. Before we start the 9th, we go down to Wiley for our GMC Field Report.
Well, Brandon, you and CJ talked about it tonight. Martin Perez has been selfless, willing to do whatever is asked by the Braves when it comes to his role in this pitching staff. And one thing that's been a little different for him is trying to handle these unpredictable appearances with bullpens. Now, he hasn't thrown too many, and being that he's a veteran in his career, he feels like that hasn't cost him too much. He actually brought up Bartolo Colon, who he was teammates with back in 2018. Bartolo was 45 that year, and Martin noticed that he didn't throw many bullpens. And so we went up and asked Bartolo, said, hey, when's the last time you threw a bullpen? Bartolo paused for a moment and thought, I believe that was 2012.
Wow. So as you get a little bit older, you start saving your bullets and kind of accordingly figuring out what's going to work for you without wasting valuable pitches in the bullpen when they're not going to be competitive ones. And it can be a little bit of a challenge because the mindset tells you that you have to keep throwing, you have to be able to stay sharp, but to be able to pitch into your 30s, in the case of Bartolo, into your 40s, you have to be smart about it.
And for Perez, the Braves are just hoping they're going to be a challenge here, but I think he's going to lose this. Rafaela.
Pitch was called a strike. The hitter is challenging.
The Braves just hoping Perez could keep this at 3-2. And the Red Sox are out of challenges.
Call is confirmed. Boston has no challenges remaining.
Braves 1 left. Full count. Swing and a miss. A good changeup there from Perez, taking care of Rafaela.
That changeup has been so money for him. The command, the speed differential, he sells it with his arm like any good changeup. Let's go look at the 3 fingers off to the side, and look how far out front Rafaela was.
A big first out. You walk him there, things look a little different, but now 1 out, base is empty. Here's Meyer. Sandy's going to challenge this one.
He was hesitant.
Pitcher's called a ball. Catcher is challenged.
I think it just scraped the top of the zone.
And you hope it does, because you prefer to have one still available to you in the bottom of the ninth.
Ball's overturned. Count is 0-1.
Yeah, good call, Sandy.
There's that pause in there where he's thinking about it. And you got to be careful. Was it Dylan Lee yesterday that kind of talked Sandy into challenging one with the body language? Almost better off not looking out at your pitcher.
Swing and a miss. The 35-year-old just took the 23-year-old to school with that changeup.
Left on left with a little bit of cut to it here from Martin Perez, so it almost acts like a cutter or even a slider. He has mastered that pitch.
Rafaela and Meyer down swinging. Now Monasterio. Couple of Venezuelan natives squaring off here. Martin Perez, Andrew Monasterio. Monasterio, Venezuela, and he signed at age 18 with the Cubs. 9 years in the minors before breaking through a couple of years ago with the Brewers, and now on to the Red Sox via a trade. The 2-1 pitch to him is in the air. Shallow right. It will be Ozzie leading off the bottom of the ninth. Aroldis Chapman coming in for the Boston Red Sox. Defensive play of the game brought to you by CarShield. Martin Perez getting a 1-2-3 at top of the ninth.
Pitching is defense, and a really nice job by Martin to keep the score exactly where it was, give the Braves an opportunity to win this ball game in the bottom of the ninth. They're going to have to do it, though, against Aroldis Chapman.
Well, our Alpha Insurance best coverage, the comeback kids. How about the Braves 7th inning or later? And they're going to need some of that truest magic here in the ninth.
Yeah, one more comeback win would be nice to add to the ledger right now, but it has been an incredible run from the 7th inning on for this Atlanta Braves offense.
And it has been an incredible career for the 38-year-old Aroldis Chapman, but he's got to face 2, 3, 4 here for the Braves. Ozzie puts it in the air and foul ground. Look out over there. And Contreras makes a great sliding catch, avoiding Hunter Wendelstedt.
That ball was sinking fast. I thought it bounced. Obviously it didn't. That almost got ugly over there. It's a really nice play. You're dealing with the distraction of the first base umpire. Wow.
Remember, Contreras just moved over to first base from catcher last year in St. Louis. Has adjusted well and makes a great play. Olsen 0 for 3 tonight. You got two of the best at what they do right here. Aroldis Chapman and Matt Olson toe-to-toe in the ninth of a one-run ball game.
Matt Olson took Aroldis Chapman deep a couple of years ago when the Braves were in Pittsburgh. Turned around a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Matt called time. Now he's ready. 0-2 pitch coming. He hits it high and deep down the right field line toward the pole, but going foul.
Just a little out front of that slider that they were trying to get away off the plate. You kind of stayed middle. Make that mistake again.
Another 0-2. This one line, but look who's there. Monasterio was in the perfect spot to record the second out. With one more out, Aroldis Chapman will get his 377th career save. That will put him in a tie for 10th place all time with Joe Nathan. So a big one tonight for Chapman, but he still needs one more out. A strikeout, a flyout, and a ground out tonight for Austin Riley. They'll check down with Hunter Wendelstedt. He says Riley did not offer.
Sit heater in that 2-0 count. You can start early, get the head out. That one probably just above the strike zone, and Austin couldn't quite get there.
Remember, if there's something close here, the Braves have 1 challenge, Boston 0. Grounded to short, should end it. High throw, it's not over yet. Monasterio sailed it high, and the ball game continues.
And what should have been a routine ground out here, he just chokes it. Nice easy hop. He's got all day, a couple of pats, and he just launches that throw.
Mateo is going to pinch run at first base. Dubon is the batter, and the catcher Gasper out to talk to his hurler.
Well, part of that will be about Mateo and the great speed that he has. Chapman hasn't been all that great in his career when it comes to holding runners. This is Gasper's, what, only 13th, I believe, start of his career behind home plate, just the second this season.
So the drama builds a little bit here at Truist Park on a Saturday night. And Dubon, even though he's 0 for 3 tonight, has been so clutch in key spots for Atlanta this year. Outfield shifts Dubon towards right center. Chapman's 1-0. Nowhere near.
So because he throws that two-seam fastball a lot, you can see the way that he's set up on the third base side of the rubber. That ball will start middle, run away, and so that's why they're shading him towards right center. That's where the opportunity could be for Dubon to drive the baseball, unless he makes a mistake over the plate.
There's the second check over for Chapman. Mateo takes off. Safe.
He knew it was going to happen right after a couple of throwovers. They're not going to challenge it. And to me, that's part of the mistake there, because there weren't A moves that Chapman gave trying to pick Mateo off. And you did him a favor knowing you weren't going to throw over. It was close. But now the tying run in scoring position.
3-0 count. Harris on deck. He missed. A 4-pitch walk to Dubon. Michael Harris strolls to the plate. $40,000 1,000 here tonight, and let me tell you that not a single one is left.
Same thing for Michael. You can sit on that fastball. You're going to get one at some point. Throws that slider just 18% to lefties.
Outside with a slider. 1-0. Michael hitting over 300 with the 8 homers and 24 driven in. He'd love to add to that total. Up and in.
That is 6 straight now out of the zone here for Aroldis Chapman following that error.
And that one nowhere near. 3-0. There's no one in that pen. It is all about Chapman right now. And he's on ice a bit. Ha-Seong Kim would be next. Another 4-pitch walk. The bases are loaded.
Well, this is incredible to think that Aroldis Chapman would get shook by that error. Thinking the game was over, maybe there was a little bit of a letdown, but it's still only a runner at first base with 2 outs and now 8 straight balls. And so if you're Ha-Seong Kim, what's the play, right? You hunt something in the middle. Again, you want to be aggressive on the fastball because he throws so hard. You want to get the head out. At the same time, you want to make sure you get this guy inside the strike zone. It's never an automatic take for me for good veteran hitters, and Kim certainly falls under that category.
For Kim, just his 5th game back since missing the first 41 with that torn tendon in his right middle finger. A chance at his first big Braves moment here in 2026. And Chapman does find the plate. Braves had the 2-1 lead in the 8th inning. Contreras with a 2-out 2-run homer to flip the game. And now an error in the bottom of the 9th opens the door here for the Braves. But they are now down to their last strike. Mateo was sprinting down the line.
Not a bad idea. He's got room to play with. Durbin is playing back. Can you get Aroldis Chapman distracted? Could you get him to balk?
He certainly got him distracted. Nick Lentz checking in with Aroldis Chapman.
Some back and forth on the eye contact, right, of course, that you have to make. And Chapman saying, well, he already looked at me. And Nick Lentz is saying, no, he didn't. And it's the last thing you want to see from your closer, thinking about other things.
Ground ball off of Chapman. He sprints to it. And he gets Kim at first base. And the ball game is over. What an incredible sequence. What a dramatic 8th and 9th. But unfortunately, it goes the way of Boston tonight.
Now, this ball was absolutely smoked in an 0-2 count by Ha-Seong Kim. It looks like Wilson Contreras is trying to calm Aroldis Chapman down. Let's see where it caught him. Yeah, right on that right heel it looked like, and he just got lucky where it went and reacted well. And unfortunately, he ends up making the play. That ball looked like it might have been ticketed for center field, and what a bad break for the Braves and Ha-Seong Kim in a year where it's been like all the breaks have gone their way.
But this one tonight does not, and the 2-run homer by Contreras in the 8th ultimately is the difference The Red Sox even the series at a game apiece. Whew. We'll be back in a moment.